Good morning, y'all. We are back on our fence project today. Hey, y'all. I'm Tracy. This is my husband, Gene. Welcome to Just Dig It Farms. We hope y'all enjoy today's video.
I can guarantee that we're gonna have a ball learning how to do the watermelon crawl.
And Gene's been out here since what, 5:30? Since about 5:30 this morning, trying to get as much done before the sun gets too intense. And he's about got it. We started this fence project last weekend. This is the third section of the fence around the potager garden. It's a pretty big space. So we've had to break down this fence into different phases. And this is our third phase, third section.
This is a lot taller over here because of the terrain difference and the deer.
Yeah. So we had to come in and cut a cattle panel in half in some of the spots and attach it to the top cattle panel here. You can see he's attaching it right here. And what are you attaching it with?
Stainless steel capinator zip ties.
Gene calls this little tool that he uses to put the stainless steel zip ties on the capinator because our friends Phyllis and Mark Cap sent us this quite a few years ago, and he's been using it ever since and loves it. So
because we've been using, sorry for the sponge, I'm Sponge Gene.
soaking wet.
But I had been using regular zip ties, and after about a year or two, the sun's so hot it just deteriorates the plastic. So these do not deteriorate.
Yeah, they're awesome. So thanks again, Phyllis and Mark, for giving us this awesome tool, the capinator.
Because there's not any fabric there, we're going to have to pull that back and put fabric, lap it over. I ain't having that weed. Having the weed eat that crap. We're going to put a line, like you said. Living such a sweet life, oh, what a sweet life. Making her dreams come true. I'm making her dreams come true. So we've been out in the garden. As you can see, I'm sweaty and I am just a little woozy in the head. It's so hot outside. This liquid IV is a blessing. It will recuperate you very quickly, and I need it right now. There's 0 sugar in this. It's more hydrating than water alone. It has 5 essential vitamins in it: B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. It's sugar-free and low-calorie. It only has 15 calories per serving. And it's vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. The winning difference, here's the difference. It's 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. They believe in a healthier world, so monies from this product goes to all over the world with partnerships and grants to give clean access and clean water to villages and everywhere around the world. So they got a website on here you can look at, and there's no artificial sweeteners or artificial colors in it. But this is really good because working on the farm, I get so exhausted and dehydrated, and this right here will give you a pickup.
Today's video is sponsored by Liquid IV. Summers in Alabama bring extreme heat and high humidity, and we could not get all the projects and chores on our farm and in our garden done without Liquid IV. It has been a literal lifesaver for us. If you would like to try Liquid IV, please use our special link and our discount code TRACY.BRITNELL, which is in the video description, to receive 20% off your purchase and free shipping. Thank you, Liquid IV, for your awesome product and for sponsoring today's video.
Liquid IV, the go-to for Just Dig It farms.
Jean and I decided to go ahead and let the chickens out, and maybe they'll help me clean up some of the bugs in the garden. I don't really believe they're going to hurt too much that's out here right now. And we like to let them out in free range as much as we can, but when we have our garden going heavy or just planted, I can't let them out because they'll tear my garden up. And that's part of the goal in getting this fence put up around the potager garden, is to not only keep the deer out, but also to be able to let our chickens out all the time and let them free range. And eventually the fence will keep the chickens out of my garden. So one day in the near future, hopefully, when we get the fence completely put up around the potager garden, we'll be able to let our chickens out every day and free range every day and have much healthier chickens. Our chickens are healthy, but they'd just be a lot healthier if they could just free range. And we'd have more nutrient dense eggs, and it would cut down on our feed bill. So this fence that we're putting up has a lot of purposes. Keeping the deer out, keeping the chickens out so that we can let them free range. Hopefully keeping out the possums and the armadillos, and it provides beauty in the garden. It makes the garden feel like a space of its own. Enclosures around a garden just make a garden space feel like the secret garden. And the walls around the garden all create vertical growing space. It creates a lot of interest in your garden, and it also creates the ability to be able to grow a lot of your vining plants and gives them something to grow on. So these walls around my garden, the ones that we're building now in the new orchard and market garden area, will be used for fruit. So we're going to espalier the apple trees, pear trees, and persimmon trees. And on one side, we're going to grow our muscadines and kiwi, which are vining fruits. And the other walls around the garden, around the potager garden section, I'm using those walls to grow vining herbs like passion flower, hops, and I'm also growing a lot of roses. So this fence around our potager garden is a major infrastructure here on our farm. Happy chickens today. We've got one extra cattle panel and a couple of 4x4s. So we're gonna go ahead and do another section right here behind the pomegranates.
Update on our fence. We got this section pretty much completed. We had a lot of comments about why we put the fence so close to the fruit trees. On these fruit trees down here, we've got pears, persimmons, apples, just all different kind of fruit trees. Well, the deer, before we put this fence up, was hammering it, and they still are, because they're coming in through here till we get the rest of the fence done. But what we're gonna do, the ideal is the chickens the chickens even can get through this. So what I'm gonna do, the lower 2 to 3 foot, they've got rolls of chicken wire. I'm gonna use just to put over the top of it and zip tie it to that. That'll keep armadillos from coming through, dogs, any kind of predators, possums, anything like that, any kind of vermin that wants to try to come in here and eat vegetables, fruit. Like on the fruit trees, we had a lot of comments about, well, the deer's just going to come up and eat through the fence. Well, we're going to do what you call a spalier, where you run your fruit, you train your limbs to go out on the cattle panel, and you have runs of it, horizontal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, and yes, the deer can walk up and just eat all the foliage that comes through. I'm going to put solar on the fruit section here. I'm going to put a solar fence charger because we get plenty of sun, and I'm going to put strands of electric wire on the fence on the outside. So the deer are not going to touch it. They're going to get zapped if they do. So that's our plan. That's what we're going to do, and it's going to work. And we're going to put gates up here when we finish. But as of right now, the deer are still getting in. You can see where they stripped the okra last night. The tops of them. They ate the leaves. So you can see the fence looks great. Got some melons.
That's the end of them, isn't it?
What?
Is that the last of them?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with all of them?
I'm gonna eat one this evening. I'm gonna go take Mom and Dad one or two.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the watermelon crawl. If you're ever down in Statesville around about July, well, it's actually August. Come on, stop by. I can guarantee that we're gonna have a ball learning how to do the watermelon crawl. Hey, I brought you some watermelon.
Oh, my land. Good gracious.
You ready to do the watermelon crawl?
Yeah.
It is so hot out here, y'all. We took a break from working on the fence because it was in the hot, blazing, intense sun. So What happened?
Big limb fell on Dad's truck.
Did it mess it up?
Yeah, no. It is the tailgate in here. No, it ain't messed up. But he's running.
Oh, thank goodness. A limb fell on Pop's truck. It didn't mess it up, thank the Lord, but that could have been bad. It is so hot here, y'all. It is upper 90s. I don't even know what the humidity is today, but it's high. And it is hot, hot, hot here in central Alabama. So we took a little break from working on the fence We're almost done, but the sun is so hot and intense right there, we decided to stop before we pushed it past our limit. Last weekend working on the fence, we pushed it past the limit, and it took us all week to recover from that. I believe we might have had especially Jean, might have had a little bit of a heat stroke. It was not good. So we stopped today before we pushed it past the limit. So I'm gonna work in the shade over here and get some seeds started for the fall and winter garden. And Jean's on the tractor doing a little bush hogging. So it is hard to even think about a fall and winter garden when it is this stinking hot out here. But this is the time to do it. So we live in central Alabama. We're zone 8B, but more important than your growing zone when you're starting seeds is your first and last frost date. So we're starting fall and winter seeds today for the garden, and my last frost date is November the 11th, and that's the date that I'm concerned with when starting the fall and winter garden. So it is time to get these seeds started, and it's also time to start cleaning up the summer garden and getting it ready, getting the beds ready for the fall and winter garden. We're still harvesting some things. We're still harvesting okra and some tomatoes, especially cherry tomatoes, and peppers and herbs, and hopefully some peas. The deer had eat the top out of my purple hull peas and my zipper peas. And they're starting to grow back, so we might end up with some peas if the kudzu beetles don't find it. We've had a issue with kudzu beetles, and Jason from Cog Hill and I both have been battling that dang kudzu beetle, and I've got to get those pulled out of the garden before they start spreading in other places. So it's time for a lot of garden cleanup. It's time to pull the plants that are spent and done and over with, and come in and redefine those planting rows, add a good layer of compost, add mulch to my pathways, hopefully get some irrigation drip tape down on my growing rows, and start getting the beds ready for the fall and winter garden. But I want to get these seeded and started so that they'll be ready to transplant in the garden around mid-September to end of September, so that they can get established and get growing good before our first frost. Now, some of these things we'll be able to grow through the winter and be able to harvest them, like my carrots and some broccolis and cabbages and different things. There might be a few times when the temperature goes below freezing that I have to come in and cover them and protect them, but for the most part, we don't have really harsh winters here, usually, but everything is crazy now and different now, so I don't know what the winter's gonna hold, but usually we don't have very harsh winters. For the most part, we can grow a lot of cool season crops, root crops, throughout the winter, most of the winter, and be able to harvest throughout most of the winter. So it's really nice. That is a beautiful thing about living in central Alabama. The not so beautiful thing about living in central Alabama is 100-degree days and 90-something% humidity, which is what we get a lot of. Some seeds I will be starting in these trays right here, and I will not be using my grow lights or my heat mats to start these because it is hot enough in my greenhouse to get the seeds to germinate. And in fact, once the seeds germinate and come up, I may have to move them out of the greenhouse because it might be too hot in there. I showed y'all earlier, it's over 120 degrees in that greenhouse right now. And we are talking about cool season vegetables. So I'll get the seeds to germinate, and then I'll move them outside where they'll still get direct sunlight, but they won't be in that intense greenhouse heat, and just let them grow and get established. I'll probably have to pot some of them up into a bigger pot before I'm ready to transplant. But some of these I will be starting in trays, and then some of them I will just be direct sowing them in the ground. So for the ones that I'm gonna start in trays, I'm gonna start broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbages, cauliflowers, collards, some kale, kohlrabis, spinach, and that's pretty much it on the vegetables that I'll start in trays. As far as direct seeding, I will direct sow probably around the mid of this month of August. I've ordered some seeds from Hoss Tools and I'm waiting for those to get in. So I'll sow some cowpeas, I'll sow carrots, I'll sow some, maybe some more green beans. I'll still have time to get another crop of those. And probably next week, I'm gonna sow some more sunflowers and some more zinnias to have a fall run of those. Radishes and my beets, I'll wait just a little bit later, probably more towards the 1st of September before I'll be direct sowing those in the ground. Let's start with broccoli. Now I ordered some broccoli from Hoss, so I'm gonna wait on some of those to get in, but I'm gonna start with this asperbrock. So there's a lot to get done in the garden right now, a lot to get done. The garden is a little bit of a jungle right now with a lot of overgrown stuff that's finished, a lot of overgrown plants that are finished, a lot of weeds, and a lot of work to be done to get it ready for fall and winter planting. And it's hard because it's so hot. And it's so hard to work out here in this heat. It's amazing how much more we can get done during the fall and during the spring. The way we manage working in this heat is we get out here early in the morning and we work till about, usually for me, it's till about 10, and then I'm done because it just starts getting too hot. And then I go inside and do inside chores like preserving or editing or business stuff or housework, or when Jean's home, then we do projects in the shade like this right here. And sometimes occasionally we go down to the creek and just chill out a little bit. I work in the mornings out here on the farm in the garden and come back out around 5:30 or 6 and work till about 8. It doesn't get dark till a little after 8 around here. So we usually work out here until dark. And that's how we can get stuff done here on the farm and in the garden during these hot, sweltering summers that we have here in Alabama. I just sowed the asperbrock, and now I'm gonna do a little burgundy broccoli and the green magic broccoli. The green magic is a little bit more heat tolerant, so it should do pretty well. Next is Brussel sprouts, and I'm going to do the Jade Cross, which does really, really well. And I'm going to do this Red Bull Brussels. It's beautiful. It hasn't really produced well for me, but I'm gonna give it a try again because it's so pretty. So I'm gonna do Jade Cross and I'm gonna do this Red Bull. Now Brussels takes like 90 days before it's ready to harvest. So this is the 1st of August to September to October to November. I should be able to get a good harvest off of these before our first frost. It can withstand a good bit of cold temperatures, just not freezing. I love every garden season. I love the spring, I love summer garden, I love all the harvest from it, but I really love the fall garden the best. It's my favorite. It's just easier to me. And the cool season vegetables are our favorites to eat. Carrots and broccoli and Brussels and cabbage and kale and spinach and all of those things. Those are our favorites. So the fall garden, definitely my favorite. Now when it comes springtime, the spring garden, definitely my favorite. When it comes summertime, definitely my favorite. I love it all. Next is cabbage, and I'm going to do like 5 different kinds because I love different kinds of cabbage. I love the different colors and making different things with all the different colors. So I'm going to do red jewel cabbage, red acre, golden acre, green boy, and cheers. If you haven't already signed up for our newsletter, we would love for you to do that. You'll receive our newsletter as an email, and it's got a lot of really good information on it, like when to start what indoors, when to direct sow, what you should be doing in your garden right now. Like, it's got a lot of good, helpful gardening information on it, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is just go to our website, JUSTDIGITfarms.com. Say you want to subscribe to this newsletter and just give us your email address, and you will receive our newsletter each month. Next is cauliflower. I'm going to do graffiti, purple, Minuteman, and twister. Next is collards, and today I'm going to do Top Bunch 2.0, and I'm going to do some Georgia Southern collards. I've ordered some more from Hoss, so I'm waiting for those to come in, and when they get here then I'll sow those too. We love our collard greens around here. I like to start my collards in cell trays. They just seem to do better. I don't have a really good germination rate when I just direct sow them, so I always like to start my collards in seed trays. But my turnip greens and my rutabagas, I direct sow those. I'm gonna wait just a little bit till probably the end of August, the 1st of September, and then I'll directly sow my turnips and rutabagas in the garden. Next is kohlrabi. I'm gonna do 2 different kinds. I've got the Quick Star and Purple Vienna. So within the next few days, I will work on starting my herb seeds. And when my seeds get here from Hoss, I'll work on those. But I'm excited we got a good start on our fall garden today. Jean and I are gonna call it a day, and we're going to actually go down to the creek and have some chill time in the creek. We are hot and tired, and we're just gonna chill out for the rest of the afternoon. So Gene came home the other day with 2 cats. He went to the Humane Society and adopted them. And they're both little girls, but they have been spayed, I guess, fixed, neutered, whatever it is. So they are precious. This one is the sweetest. Isn't she beautiful? She's so sweet. And she sits by the door and just wants to come in. She just wants us to be out here with her and love on her. The other one, she's a little bit more skittish. Here she comes. I'm gonna see if I can pick her up. She's a little bit more skittish, and she's younger. She's a lot younger. This one just wants all the love. All the love. Come here, kitty. Where are you? Where are you? She's right under my feet. Oh, she's pawing at my feet. Come here, kitty. Come here, baby. Come here. I'm trying to let her just slowly warm up to us on her own terms. She's sweet as she can be. She's just kind of skittish. She's beautiful too. I see you. I see you, girl.
you under?
Wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I guess we will. I'm gonna lay this gun right here. Surely there ain't no snakes out in the water.
No, 2014 is when we signed the lease purchase.
Okay.
And then we were here for 2 years, and then we moved here in 2016.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Just dig it. So this stump right here is huge. It's got a huge root system. So at one time, I wished I knew how old this was. And I believe it was a bald cypress because we have several around here. And that tree, it's got like in the middle of the root, it's got like a lot of sand and dirt. But I've always wondered, is there gold? Because this creek used to have gold in it back. You can look on the internet, but I've always wondered because it catches things every time there's a flood or something. There's all kind of sediment.
Why don't you get down there and pan for gold?
And paying for a moccasin? I don't want to get killed.
If you found gold, it'd be worth it.
I've always wanted to go back in time, like in a time machine. I'm not smoking, y'all. Okay, I don't smoke. So I always wanted to go back in time and like be here when the Indians were here, but be invisible and see what it would be like, because I know there was Indians all over this place. It would be so cool.
They were the Creek Indians.
Yep,
were
Creek
here.
Indians.
It's logged at the archives at the courthouse.
Yeah.
That the Creek Indians were here
you
on
can go
our
on the
creek.
internet on the Little Mulberry Creek, and they had a gold rush here back in the 1800s. I don't remember what year exactly, but this tree with a bent. We were told that tree is the Indians would do that. It is a marker to get to their camp, and they would train trees to do that and mark their ways along the river bottoms in Alabama, well, in other states too. But they train those trees as saplings, and it's a marker to get back to their camp. So when Indians would come by horseback, they could come down a creek bank and they would know they're getting closer. And we've actually got another one on down the creek, but that one is amazing. But one of my friends pointed that out to me, and I didn't even know nothing about it. But that tree has got to be pretty old. But check it out. Look at the root right here. Look at this. It's still alive trying to root. That's why they're so prolific.
Crazy. Muscadines.
I mean, look at this. You can cut this. And there's so much sap coming out of it. It's amazing. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
I've been born by the river.
There is a huge, if I point right, yeah, huge cypress tree on that point. It's amazing. The water just swirls. It's a great place to catfish. It's really deep. But this big tree fell during a storm about 4 or 5 months ago, and the tree is still alive. There's leaves still growing on the water oak, and it's blocking the whole creek. It's awesome how things change.
Thanks for hanging out with us this weekend, y'all. God bless you. We'll see y'all next week.
Just dig it.